Number 9. Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman is regarded as one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time. The US-born bodybuilder won the Mr. Olympia title 8 times and earned 26 IFBB professional titles. The King, as he called by many, appeared on the podcast Joe Rogan Experience in June 2020. He discussed his bodybuilding journey and revealed that he used steroids. While many prefer not to speak about it, Ronnie Coleman isn't one of them. On the podcast, he said he started taking steroids when he was 30 after staying clean for 6 years. Many had always suspected this, as it was always considered impossible to win a Mr. Olympia without steroids at some level. People also suspected he had started to use steroids because he had incredible genetics and looked very athletic. Still, he never won anything to speak of, and then suddenly he got huge and started to beat everybody that consistently beat him in previous years. After his steroid use, he appeared to have gained nearly 50 pounds in muscle mass. Coleman also revealed all his steroids were provided to him by a doctor because the Drug Enforcement Agency was trying to crack down on steroids in the black market. He says they'd give you a prescription for any test or growth hormone. Coleman, though, has now lost most of his mobility. Coleman's rigorous training took a severe toll on his body and affected his physical health, forcing him to lose mobility. Due to multiple surgeries and other procedures, the 58-year-old lost most mobility and was bound to a wheelchair. In 1996, Coleman had a brutal squatting routine that led him to dislocated disc. He didn't seek medical attention immediately, which became his undoing. Coleman underwent 2 hip replacement surgeries and multiple other treatments to alleviate the pain from his damaged intervertebral disc. The surgeries, though, aggravated the injuries and health issues he has suffered and caused the bodybuilding icon to lose most of his mobility. Number 8. Rich Piana. Rich Eugene Piana was an American bodybuilder and YouTuber. He won the National Physique Committee Mr. Teen California title in 1989, Mr. Olympia in 1998, in NPC competitions in 2003 and 2009. With an Instagram following of 1.2 million users and hundreds and thousands of viewers subscribed to his YouTube channel, Piana had a large audience of fans. Though his reasons for notoriety soon shifted, he became someone the internet loved and hated. Piana turned his body into a giant collection of tattoos. He publicly spoke about taking anabolic steroids and had comically huge arms. He had a brief acting career, appearing in various TV shows in more minor roles. He became the face of the supplement company Mutant. He started promoting the supplements and his trademark 8-hour workout to his fans, promising significant returns in terms of growth in arm size. After working with them for a couple of weeks, he also introduced his own supplement company as his YouTube channel was taken off, a business decision that would turn out to be very wise. However, all that very soon ended when in August 17, the 46-year-old Mississippian collapsed and spent 2 weeks in a coma before passing. As far as the cause of his demise, it's inconclusive. The autopsy report, however, confirmed several speculations regarding his health. He had a fatty liver, an enlarged heart, discolored kidneys, and other junk inside his body. Due to the nature of the slaying and his openness about using steroids, even while he had admitted several times that the drug could kill a person, many began to suspect that the cause of his demise was drug-related. Furthermore, when he collapsed, the police rushed to his home. They found him passed out in his Florida home beside 20 bottles of testosterone. Sadly, Rich's demise is part of a long and troubling history that involves bodybuilders and heart-related slayings. Bodybuilding is a very ungrateful sport that requires maximum dedication and sacrifice. Cases, including pianos, have generated a lot of discussions demanding things to change from how they are. Though he may be gone, he still leaves a legacy that reshaped bodybuilding and fitness YouTube industries. He lived the life he wanted and never apologized for it. Number 7. Tony Geraldo and Alvaro Pereira. Tony Geraldo and Alvaro Pereira were Brazilian brothers who idolized Arnold Schwarzenegger growing up. The two were obsessed with growing muscles and were determined to do anything to accomplish their goals. This sadly involved them injecting various steroids and other chemicals to become prominent. Known as Hulk and Conan respectively, or collectively as the Hulk brothers, they achieved nearly 28 inches thick biceps at their peak. Around this time, the two of them came clean about their drug use to the world, admitting to use dangerous chemicals since their teenagerhood to make them as big as possible. Pereira has been injecting his biceps and legs with a supplement called Protein B12 on and off since he was 15 years old. His younger brother followed in his footsteps when he turned 18 after seeing what the drugs did to his brother's muscles. The brothers injected the chemicals in cycles 2 times a week with 5 days in between. Now Mr. Geraldo's bulging biceps measure 28 inches in circumference and his brother boasts 25-inch biceps. Despite being warned by their doctor and admitting to the drug's many dangers, the two continued to use it frequently to maintain their muscles. The chemical is highly addictive, causes depression, and damages the liver and kidneys. The consequences, however, soon began catching up with the two, affecting their personal lives and their physical health. Tony was challenged by his wife of 27 years over his use of substances and ended up telling her she would have to leave him if she didn't like it. He also reportedly suffered from high blood pressure. The two remained insistent that they had everything under control, even as their health deteriorated. Taking their doctor's advice, the brothers claimed to have recently stopped injecting for health reasons and because their skin cannot stretch anymore. Since then, the two have had to let go of their obsession with growing larger to save themselves from having to end up paying the ultimate price. Number 6. Cali Muscle. Those familiar with the fitness side of YouTube have at some point or another heard of renowned American YouTuber, actor, author, bodybuilder, and former adult model Chuck Cali Muscle Kirkendall. Most famous for being a bodybuilder that isn't shy to speak about the current state of the sport since stepping off stage. He has also spoke openly about his steroid use in his pursuit of turning pro and adding more size to his physique. In 2021, Cali suffered a heart attack caused by a clot, bringing him to the forefront of mainstream media. In the past 3 years, many bodybuilders had unfortunately passed away due to heart complications, a fate Cali was lucky to avoid. Cali used the platform to become a spokesperson for the dangers of bodybuilding and steroid use. He continued sharing personal stories of his experiences with the infamous drug and how it affected him. The steroids helped him reach 230 pounds, nearly doubling his size. He attributed them to his transformation from an ex-con to a bodybuilding trailblazer who became a social media influencer and influential personality. During his career, Cali Muscle would get regular checkups from doctors where he would receive warnings but brushed them off because he felt fine. That was until his heart attack, after which he stopped using them. He now urges everyone to keep up with their health and is very vocal in speaking out against drug use and demanding change in the bodybuilding world. Number 5. Greg Doucette. IFBB bodybuilder, Guinness World Record holder, fitness coach, and YouTube personality Greg Doucette is regarded to have had one of the most incredible physique in bodybuilding. He has been bodybuilding for over 30 years, has deadlifted the most weight in 1 minute, and has competed in over 60 powerlifting contests. In Nova Scotia in 1975, the athlete discussed his keen interest in bodybuilding from a very young age. He discovered bodybuilding at the age of 13 and instantly knew he wanted to be on stage like that of one day. He soon began working hard and building up his body to one day achieve his dream. In 2017, Vice started a new series called Swole, and they had Greg as the focus of their first episode. The title of the documentary was The 40-Year-Old Bodybuilder. The video centered around Greg's attempt to make the top 10 from the Toronto Pro Super Show while meeting his partner's parents for the first time. Greg reached his goal. He placed 9th overall and came across as a nice guy. While the Vice documentary may not be the main reason for Greg's subsequent fame, it was around this time that Greg went from being well known in bodybuilding to a big name in the YouTube scene. He became famous on YouTube for his high-intensity workouts, attracting viewers due to his straightforward nature and sense of humor. His candid nature and reluctance to mislead his viewers made him open up about how he grew swole. He openly admitted to using steroids in his video, worried that it may cause people to hate him. Far from it, however, his openness and refreshing honesty caused him to become even more popular, and he started sharing some information about he had come to use the drugs and how they had ruined his life. He admitted to having used them since he was very young, but claims he regrets his youthful self-decision. Aging has caused Greg's size to reduce rapidly as his physique was unsustainable without continuing to use the substance. He has also been convicted and put on house arrest for steroid trafficking, something he has always been open about. He now uses his platform to warn and guide others about the risk and whether they need steroids or not. Number 4. Physique of Greatness. Bodybuilder Chris Jones possesses a physique and muscle mass to which many on the internet aspire. His popular YouTube channel, Physique of Greatness, has a strong following too. So like many famous bodybuilders on YouTube, his highly muscular build, low body fat percentage, and excellent physique have been the subject of that old controversy. Is he natural or not? Does he use any steroids? Despite all the comments on his physique, Jones claims to be a natural bodybuilder, but let's dissect if that's really true. Although Chris has no visual steroid symptoms whatsoever, some signs and physical attributes may point to the potential use. Jones is a strong advocate of DB. For those who have not heard of the term, DB is where you consume as many calories, good or bad, to put on as much mass as possible. A 2017 study showed that a sizable portion of weight gained during DB comes from excess fat gain more than muscle. What usually follows an intense bulking phase is cutting, and a potential side effect of that is muscle loss. The fat loss after DB makes a muscle gain a challenge for bodybuilders. Yet Jones, known for his aggressive bulks, doesn't seem to lose too much muscle during cutting. In fact, he puts on a significant amount. The boost in muscle growth could be a possible indication he's among steroid users. Jones has also claimed that he shreds fat very quickly after a bulk. This could be due to his genetic makeup. However, shredding that fast could indicate abnormally high metabolism as seen in clenbuterol users. Possible red flags are that Jones sheds fat quickly after a dirty bulk and retains a good deal of muscle after cutting. As stated, it could also be the case that Jones has excellent genetics for fat loss, but it certainly does raise some doubt about possible steroid use. There are some obvious visual signs of steroid use, as seen in people like Cali Muscle, but it's a little challenging to tell with Jones. When you compare Jones' stats to those of Olympia lifters who are open steroid use, you'll notice that he weighs almost as much as those taller than him. Jones stands around 5'7" and weighs between 175 to 185 pounds. Compare this to Frank Zane, three-time Mr. Olympia winner, who stands at 5'9" and weighs 185 pounds. Chris Jones' weight is not typical of a natural bodybuilder in this regard, as it's closer to those on performance-enhancing drugs. Another interesting observation from his contest photos is that Jones has a disproportionately better, more defined, and bulkier physique compared to his fellow competitors. This surely raises a question or two on Chris Jones' steroids use. Number 3. Frank Zane. Frank Zane continues to have a great mind for fitness and is active in the gym to this day. He has spoken about the status of bodybuilding in this era and recently spoke against adding size because of the impact it could have on symmetry and proportion. During his career, Frank Zane became known for his battles with the likes of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He took home a Mr. America and Mr. Universe title in 1968 to go along with his 3 Olympias. Even though he is decades out of competition, Zane still has the mind and motivation to not only train himself but to share his knowledge with the next generation. In an interview, Zane even spoke on steroids during his time in bodybuilding and the dangers of them today. During his career, Frank Zane built a physique that was aesthetically pleasing because of its combination of size and conditioning. He was extremely proportioned and shredded. Zane still believes that bodybuilders should focus on symmetry over size. The men's open division has become focused on size as competitors try to gain as much mass as possible while keeping a strong condition. According to Frank Zane, that very conditioning and proportion is the name of the game. When adding muscle and size, it is important to focus on the biggest factors that can impact scores on stage. But is the kind of proportioning that Zane reached actually doable without the use of steroids? Zane has never admitted to using steroids, but there is some speculation that he may have. He has been accused of using steroids by some of the bodybuilding community, but he has always denied these claims. In an interview with bodybuilding.com, Zane said, "I never used steroids. I never needed to. I had great genetics and worked hard." He also said that he believes that steroids are harmful to the body and that he would not use them. In another instance, he said that he didn't rely on steroids, which stands to suggest he may have been using them at one point. Many people believe that Zane's physique was too impressive to have been achieved without steroids. The point to the fact that he was able to maintain a high level of muscularity while also being very lean. This is difficult to do naturally, as steroids can help to increase muscle mass and reduce body fat. Ultimately, it is impossible to say for sure whether or not Frank Zane used steroids. He has never admitted to it, but there is some evidence that suggests that he may have. On the other hand, there is also some evidence that suggests that Zane did not use steroids. Number 2. Lee Priest. Lee Priest is a former professional bodybuilder from Australia. He is considered to be one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time, and he is known for his incredible symmetry, his vascularity, and his shredded physique. Priest started training at the age of 12, and he won his first bodybuilding competition at the age of 13. He turned professional at the age of 20, and he went on to compete in the Mr. Olympia contest 10 times. He never won the Mr. Olympia title, but he finished in the top 5 on several occasions. Priest is known for his outspoken personality, and he's not afraid to speak his mind. He has been critical of the use of steroids in bodybuilding, and he has also been critical of the International Federation of Bodybuilding. Priest started using steroids at the age of 19, and he has said that he used them to help him recover from injuries and to improve his physique. He has also said that he believes that steroids can be used safely if they are used responsibly. However, Priest has also said that he regrets using steroids, and he has warned young bodybuilders against using them. He has said that steroids can have serious side effects, and he has said that he would not want to see young people make the same mistakes that he made. In recent years, Priest has become an advocate for natural bodybuilding, and he has spoken out against the use of steroids in bodybuilding. He has said that he believes that steroids are cheating, and he has said that he wants to see bodybuilding return to a time when natural bodybuilders could compete on an equal footing. Priest's steroids use has been a controversial topic, and there are many people who believe that he should not have used them. However, Priest has said that he does not regret his decision to use steroids, and he has said that he believes that he made the best decision for himself at that time. We should also consider the fact that there is also a lot of misinformation about steroids in the bodybuilding community. Some people believe that steroids are essential for achieving a high level of muscularity, while others believe that they are completely unnecessary. The truth is that steroids can help to improve muscle growth and definition, but they are not essential. In the end, the decision of whether or not to use steroids is a personal one. There are both risks and benefits associated with steroid use, and each individual must weigh these factors before making a decision. Number 1. Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler remains one of the most popular figures in bodybuilding, even following his retirement. Cutler remains an influential voice because of his willingness to discuss the ins and outs of the sport. This includes the use of steroids, which has become a huge problem following a string of deaths that has impacted the sport. Cutler won the Olympia 4 times. Most notably, he ended the 8-year streak of Ronnie Coleman in 2006. To get to this point, Cutler had to use everything he could during his career to build a championship physique. Cutler has been open about his steroid use since retiring and continues to reflect on it. During his career, Cutler was taking 1,000 milligrams of testosterone. This was part of one of his protocols. Cutler added that his ex-wife was a nurse practitioner and made sure that they were conscious about maintaining good health while on PEDs. Cutler keeps a check on his health and stated that the last time he checked, his testosterone levels were in the 640 ng range. A lot of people tend to take huge doses of steroids during the first cycle. However, Cutler claimed that no one needs more than 1 cc of testosterone during the first cycle. He further added that he targets the testosterone level between 600 to 800 ng. Jay Cutler does have a prescription for anti-estrogen now. However, he prefers not to use it. At one point, Cutler said that his biggest challenge during the competitive bodybuilding career was to get the exotic drugs. According to him, exotics were the substances that bodybuilders compulsorily needed to use for the show. During 2000 to 2004, he spent those whole years consisted of buying exotic drugs like parabolan, Winstrol amps, and Masteron, etc. Furthermore, Cutler's longtime coach Chris Aceto never had him take anti-estrogens at the beginning of his career. The bodybuilding legend revealed that he and Aceto never even discussed using anti-estrogens. Outside of bodybuilding, steroids have been depicted in movies and TV shows over the years, and according to Cutler, this gives an inaccurate picture of the substances and certain behaviors. People generally use insulin in a medical context. However, bodybuilding is an extreme sport and many competitors use the drug for the muscles to absorb nutrients quickly after training. Jay Cutler admitted that he toyed with insulin as well. However, stopped using it in 2004 and absolutely never used it again. That's all for today, folks. See you next time.